music stops, I'll walk you to your door. You say goodnight like 1,000 times before. This is the night I just want you to know. This is the night I just can't let you go. Why should we wait until tomorrow? Why should we wait until tomorrow? Well, I can't wait until tomorrow. I need you tonight. I drive away, but you're still on my mind. It's so hard leaving you behind. This is the night I just want you to know. This is the night I just can't let you go. Why should we wait until tomorrow? Why should we wait until tomorrow? Well, I can't wait until tomorrow. I need you tonight. Why should we wait until tomorrow? Why should we wait until tomorrow? Well, I can't wait until tomorrow. I need you tonight.
Yarat Shkerosne Arota Islatang Horea Nikananda Dr. Buu Nygren, Navajo Nation President, coming to you live from Las Cruces, New Mexico. I started my day in Window Rock, Arizona this morning. I know it was an early morning, and I left around 7:30, and I'm here now in Las Cruces. I just met with a phenomenal team, met with the vice president, the provost, all the deans of all the departments at the New Mexico State University. Go Aggies. I know one of the main things that we talked about was how can we continue to develop, how can we partner, how can we elevate the Navajo Nation, and what resources and research can they provide to help us on the Navajo Nation. One of the things I did express to them is that we've gotten an unprecedented amount of funding from the government, but sometimes it's hard to spend a lot of these funding and these resources. So really trying to move those initiatives forward. They served me some hot chili too, so and I caught myself off guard with that too. So again, it's some of the upcoming holidays or appreciation days is Labor Day, which is Monday. I just want to say thank you to all the working people all across America who are Navajo. Nandish Bakeda, not Enegidon, Kashindo, Heshibadat, Oha, Siego, Nandish Bakeda, Kahom. A Hehan Kedini Dele. So enjoy your Labor Day. And also thank you to the 8,000 plus Navajo Nation employees. Thank you for your work, your tireless efforts to try to move our nation forward. And as I've expressed to the New Mexico State University too, is we're always open to for assistance and help, because we don't have all the resources, we don't have all the expertise that we need that we have on the Navajo Nation. But you, 8,000 plus Navajo Nation employees, you do your very, very best to try to help our people. So again, as your president, I just want to say thank you. And na nishbinyan nada na to the Nebuchadnezzar, the Nebu Washington, Vantas Nishigi. As your president, I'm always very appreciative of the work that you do on a day-to-day basis, because you work with what you got. And I just want to appreciate and say thank you to all of you. Some local announcements. NTUA Utility Federal Assistance Program. The deadline is September 14th. So if you have a lot of your relatives that meet some of the income thresholds and have past dues, the deadline is September 14th, which is about 2 weeks away. So let's make sure you get your relatives to an NTUA office and fill out the assistance program, because there's still a lot of money out there. You might owe $500, $1,000, $2,000, and you can't seem to pay it off. Go inside of an NTUA office and fill out that application, and there's all this federal funding to try to get catch you up on a lot of your past due utility bills. So if you got that going on, make sure you go to NTUA and get that application submitted so you can get caught up. Again, some of the things that you're going to need is your NTUA account, your driver's license, your certificate of Indian blood, income verification for the past 6 months, and your past utility bill, so you can get that paid, because I know there's still plenty of money out there. We got 2 weeks, and let's try not to send any money back to the federal government. So best chibe that the segi begin na helene gi asio ayo kesin lingi shi asi honi na so na begin to yes na so skadidi li so e hot osin be ka to was even the fine $10, $20, it's very tough to find on Navajo. So this is the time and place to go visit your NTUA utility office and try to fill out an application. If there's a past due bill, they'll be more than happy to get you verified and get your account up to date. Also, another announcement is my public safety director, Mike Anderson. He was appointed to the task force, the New Mexico State Task Force for Law Enforcement Cross Commissioning. So I'm very happy that our public safety director is now going to be on that task force, and they're going to be crucial on really implementing cross commissioning on the New Mexico side. So many kudos to public safety director Mike Anderson. And I know this is the part where I've always made a commitment to MMIW. MMIP is really trying to, on a week-to-week basis, to try to report to you all some of the missing people out there. I know it's heartbreaking. I know people are out there trying to find their relatives, but I know that on the radio and on through the social media feeds, we definitely try to make these announcements, because you never know. Somebody might hear the message and they know where this person is exactly or when they last seen them. So 77-year-old Mitchell Manley, 5'3", 250 pounds. If you've seen Michelle, Kayenta Police Department, 928-697-5600. 29-year-old Jocelyn Hood, last seen or last contact was Sunday, August 13th. 5'5", 140 pounds. Report to Window Rock Police District if you've seen her. Rodney Dixon, 43 years old, last seen in Yumbato, New Mexico. Sunday, August 20th, 5'11", 240 pounds. Call Crown Point Police, 505-786-2050. 48-year-old Dwayne Yazzie, last seen in Ganado, 6'1", 140 pounds. Window Rock Police District, 928-871-61111. And then Fitzpatrick Runhorse, 6 foot tall, 120 pounds. If you know of his whereabouts, please call Window Rock Police District. So 928-871-6111. And I know it's always sad to read these names. I know it's on radio as well. Some of you are probably looking at the Facebook Live and at the same time listening to the KGAK or KTNN or KNDN or NTU or Dennett College Radio, where this is also being broadcasted in Navajo. Also, the Navajo Police Department is hiring as well. So definitely, if you're interested in applying for the police department, they are hiring. So make some time to go out there. This time in history, you've got Dr. Martin Luther King's Jr.'s I Have a Dream speech, one of my all-time favorite speeches. And I think a lot of us remember there's probably a point in time in your life when you heard that speech and it really moved you and motivated you. So again, I just want to say thank you to Dr. King for his leadership. Over 60 years ago, on August 28th, 1963, he gave that monumental speech, and it was in front of thousands of people, and he really just went from the heart. And it's one of those speeches where we'll always remember to fight for equality, fight for equity, to fight for representation. And that's some of the things that we're still fighting for as of today. Being Navajo, being indigenous, we're really trying to make sure that we have a seat at the table all the time and that our voices are being heard. And that's one of my favorite speeches. I Have a Dream. That was 60 years ago. A life lesson. One step at a time can make all the difference in achieving a major goal. Meaning, sometimes you don't just jump to the front, but if you take steps and steps and steps and steps, eventually you're going to get there and the results will be very clear and present. The week's accomplishment, I know one of the things we had is I had my Washington office director, Justin Hosteen, out in along with Bobby Ann Baldwin out in Louisiana for the U.S. Navajo naval ship, the Navajo ship that was named after the Navajo Nation, for some of the towing that's going to be happening out in the ocean. So very thankful that our people are out there representing. I'm very thankful to the Navy for thinking about us, thinking about the Navajo Nation, so that we can have an open ocean towing vessel named after the Navajo Nation. So we had Peter McDonald, Chairman McDonald out there. We had some council delegates out there. We've had former council delegates that were out there as well. So we had a very strong presence out there. So very appreciative to the people that were present there. I know I was at the Chinle Fair running up and down, shaking your hands and saying hello as well. So again, thank you. And also we had in the audience there for the christening was our U.S. Navy Lieutenant Kellyanne Zuni, Dr. Zuni, who's from Crown Point as well. So she was out there and she's a big champion in trying to do suicide prevention services and mental health promotions. So Dr. Zuni, thank you out there. Thank you for all the work that you do and making us Navajo people very proud. So yeah, also we've got other things in terms of we had 40 veterans enroll for more benefits. I know we've had when the Secretary McDonough was out here a few months ago, and he mentioned the PACT Act, people who were exposed to Agent Orange or other toxic substances. I know that my Navajo Nation Veterans Administration's department has really been trying to take advantage of that and sign people up so that they can get some of the services that are out of the PACT Act. So again, we got 40 people signed up. So many kudos to the Navajo Nation Veterans Department. Yeah. Also, I attended the Red Mesa Solar Farm ribbon cutting. I know that was in my neighborhood, so it was good to be home for just a few hours to see the 72 megawatt solar continue to be in operation to really try to provide solar to not only our communities but other communities that are buying the power. And I also want to say thank you to all the investors, people investing on Navajo. It costs a lot of money to put up projects of this magnitude and of this size. So much kudos to NTUA for bringing investors and people to the table so that we can have facilities like this on Navajo that will generate on a yearly basis taxes, leases on the land, and everything along those lines. So yeah. Also want to say thank you to the senior center staff for actually getting the vehicles that were purchased a few months ago. 13 vehicles that were purchased. They're now in operation on the New Mexico side, thanks to Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham and the New Mexico capital outlay dollars and the state legislators. Many kudos to the state of New Mexico. I know the seniors are enjoying their new Suburbans at the senior center. So I know there's a lot of work to be done with the senior centers as well too. So we're working on those efforts, especially during this time with the budgets and really trying to figure out how can we better serve our senior centers. Some of the big projects that we're working on is the Silver Jackets interagency team attacks in the Bird Springs area. I know we've got the local chapters like Bird Springs and Loop. They're really trying to come together and make sure that the efforts are there to really work with the Army Corps of Engineers. I know they applied for a grant, a $13 million plus risk reduction project. It's a pilot program, and they're really trying to acquire some funding so that they can design and construct the area so that flooding will not occur into the future. So many kudos to the chapter officials in that area, the council delegates, and the past leaders who've worked on it as well. And so moving on to the meet and greets, all of us know that it was a pleasure to see some of you at the Central Navajo Fair, the song and dance, the rodeo, the powwow, and the dog show. I think some of you seen that cool photo with the puppy with the hat and the sunglasses. Shook his hands. Hey, so it was good. It was good to be at the Central Navajo Fair, to be among our people, to celebrate. And some of the commitments I made to them as well too was really come next year working with our council delegates, work with our chapter officials and central agency. Let's really provide some bleachers. Let's provide a better facility for our song and dance, our powwow, and even our dog show as well. So I'm looking forward to working with them so that next year the people are not bringing in their folding chairs and their camping chairs and really having a tough time out in the sun and the heat with our elders. So I look forward to working with our delegates from Central Agency and the 25th Council to really provide top-notch facilities all across Navajo. We also had BHP. They're an organization that's one of the larger organizations that's really trying to fight uranium cleanup and really try to get cleanup done across America. And so Stephen at City, my director, and myself, we met with them, talked about different methods and means, and looking forward to seeing what kind of solutions they'll bring to the table as we continue to move in the direction of getting our mines cleaned up. Also attended a Sunshine Grant Award ceremony in NTU this past week. It was an honor to see a company that donated $7.2 million and $1.2 million to Coalition to Stop Violence Against Native Women. I know that's one of those things where I'm excited about. It's a constant effort. I know being a girl dad. I know having a daughter, having a strong wife like my first lady of the Navajo Nation, former state representative. You tend to really try to continue to fight and advocate for our women to make sure that they've got every opportunity to be successful. So again, I just cannot imagine what $1.2 million is going to do for that organization, because I know just hiring one person in my office, which is John Sosi, it's really made a world of difference in my office. And then $6 million to NTU. That's been amazing. I know they're going to really use those dollars towards clean energy, whether it's solar, whether it's other forms of clean energy development, but really trying to be at the forefront, because in order for all of us on the Navajo Nation to get the services and everything that we want, we got to be a revenue generating nation, because the federal government and the state governments can only give us so much amount of money. But if we can continue to invest in ourselves and develop projects to generate revenues and taxes and lease payments and whatnot, we can turn those around, have better public safety, better parks, better scholarships, and things like that. So again, it's a two-way street. I do my very best to work with council, do my very best to work with my executive branch directors to make sure that we're mission driven. You know what I mean? This is all about helping our people, helping our community. There's nothing in between that. Don't let it get to your head, because the minute it gets to your head, you forget why we're here. I'm your Navajo Nation president, not just because I want to be your president. As I've told a lot of you, jobs, revenue, infrastructure, water, electricity, a better lifestyle that our younger people can enjoy. And so those are some of the things I really continue to encourage all of you, is continue to not only tell my staff on the executive side, but continue to educate your chapter officials, educate your council delegates to make sure that this is the same fight. We're all on the same fight to make sure that we can get out of this, whatever rut we are in now. And the sooner we kind of continue to come together and work together, it makes things so much easier as we're moving along. Also had an opportunity to have a going out lunch with the current Miss Navajo. I know next week she's going to be very, very busy, because we're going to crown a new Miss Navajo next week. But I had a lunch with her and her manager as well, Carletta Benali, and the staff assistant as well within that office. We had lunch, talked about some of her stories of becoming Miss Navajo and everything in between. I just want to say again, thank you and congratulations to Valentina Kutso for the work that she's done and representing being a strong Navajo woman with values of family, respect, and really representing us to the world on the Navajo Nation stage. So it's hard to represent Navajo, especially as Miss Navajo. It's a big responsibility, and I really believe she did a wonderful job. So again, look forward to the things that she's going to do into the future. So again, many kudos to the Miss Navajo office as well, and also to Miss Navajo herself for her humility, grace, and awesomeness in her butchering skills. I heard she's real fast, so don't mess with her. And also had a few meetings this week with some council delegates. I met with Honorable former Speaker Seth Damon and the Eastern Land Commission. I definitely made my commitment to them that I really support the Eastern Land Commission. I know as president, I wish I could be at every chapter meeting, every whatever meetings, but there's just so many responsibilities when you're elected by the entire Navajo Nation. You have 400 plus thousand people, 27,000 square miles that you got to think for and advocate for, and it's a big responsibility. But I do my very best to make sure that I work with leaders that are advocating. So I made my commitment to the Eastern Land Commission chair that whatever resolutions or whatever work that they're working on, I totally support it. And I'll make sure it's very clear that I support them as well. Also met with Honorable Shauna Claw. She brought some constituents in when it came to cattle rustling and people and government and organizations that were improperly removing livestock from families and grandmas and moms and aunties. And I made it very strong and clear when I had my chief of staff, my division director, and the families in the room that I'm not going to take this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? People, there's due diligence. We got to make sure that we got to continue to do things that are fair and right. You don't just pull up anywhere and load up cows and sell them and not compensate families for them. And to me, that's completely wrong. So as president, I'll always continue to fight for what's right. And to me, that was completely wrong. And I look forward to helping the family get that resolved and at least get them some compensation that they deserve. So I don't mess around when it comes to that because I know it's expensive to have cows and sheep and horses, and last thing you need is people just taking them from you. And right in front of you is the worst part. People just do that right in front of you. It's very disrespectful. We're Navajo people, end of the day. We're respectful. We have one each other's backs and for the greater good of our community and our land. And also attended the U of A veterinarian graduation, the inaugural class of the veterinarian class. Out of 110, 3 of them were Navajo. So congratulations to U of A. Congratulations to us as a Navajo Nation to have 3 Navajo veterinarians. I know that's an amazing feat to have because they're really needed among the Navajo Nation. We need more veterinarians. And I know some of you hardcore Sun Devils are upset with me saying, that's why you wear U of A colors. Hey, just kidding. I'll always be a Sun Devil, but now I'm your president, so I don't mind saying bear down. Hey. So again, thank you so much for always tuning in. This coming week, we've got the 75th Navajo Nation Fair. Don't be shy. I'll be at a few events, and let's shake some hands, do some high fives, and you'll see me running through the parade. The louder you get, you'll get my attention. So I'll make my way across to your family. So just let the family know. If we make some noise, the president is going to run towards us and give us some high fives and say hello. And also next Wednesday, we're going to do the President Nygren Fitness Challenge too at Veterans Park. It's going to be 1 minute plank, a 1 mile run or walk, 25 push-ups, 25 sit-ups. Let's see how many minutes you can get that done. So we're going to get some details out there. We're going to call it the President Nygren Fitness Challenge. So next Wednesday, during your lunch break, if you're a Navajo Nation employee, come on out. Or if you're just on your lunch break, come on out too. So again, with that being said, I just want to say, Yego, Shakan Daskodo, and Jono Sansida Kesto, Ahwichin has Abinish Anito Horo, the Nebanant and Hanslo, Ahwichin Hansis case and so Yego, Shada Inisto, Shada Inishigin up the Sinshohe, has Twido Sani, the Chinias Labamado, Bajada, ten Cheheda, Big had a beta, Tenegi Eben Yedit, I let all the Yego, the Nebo Washington, Skinslo, hat now, it was nicht to any hin hada, as in laid. So I really hope that you continue to be out there and to continue to make sure you encourage one another that we're out here. And hopefully you enjoy my weekly update. And remember, tell your grandmas and grandpas, tune in on the radio at 1 o'clock and at 5:30. And they'll get the Navajo 90% version. I haven't gone 100% Navajo on the radio, but I'm working towards it. So it's about 90% Navajo. So again,
Good afternoon, everybody. Today, She'e Debines Manual, Minchia, Sanjakin and Shle, Techna, Billy Bushes Chin, Tit Nanjani Dasha Trade, Abatish and Nala, Lady Twade, Ayazadent Nasha. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us this afternoon here on Facebook Live. I really want to acknowledge all of our veterans and our people who are enlisted right now in the military, and those that are serving in our law enforcement and fire departments. Thank you so much for all of the work that you do. I think it's really important that we acknowledge all of these service providers that we have. We have a number of people who serve our children out in the communities and our elders, either through food or childcare or a healthcare setting. So I just want to acknowledge that, take time to do that. I was driving down through Window Rock this afternoon, and I was headed from my human resources office here to the president's office, and I noticed that there's so many people already out and about marking areas for their fair spots, their parade spots, and I just had to smile and see that people are just getting excited and planning ahead. And during this time, one of the departments that I work really closely with is the Navajo Nation Safety Office. NOSHA is what we work with, and I have been talking a lot with our team and asking them, what is the situation over at the fairgrounds? How are things moving along? And you're really asking a lot of really hard questions and feeling a little bit more informed about what's happening there. So with our NOSHA program, we're able to look at the safety for people in and out of the area, places where they can sit down and get some shade and make sure they cool off. And I think my greatest concern is for our children and our elders, people with limited mobility, people who can find some place to sit down for a little bit. So I just ask everybody out there, when you're attending the fair, from our safety perspective, that you look around, keep an eye out for kids, make sure they're safe. I know we have a lot of moving vehicles out there. Do everything you can to watch out for our children. They can be really quick on their feet, so keep your eye out for them. Our elders, when you bring our grandparents along to the event, please keep an eye out on them, for them. We know that they require a lot of keep them hydrated, make sure if medicine or food is needed, make sure they have snacks and things to keep them through the day, and ensure they have something comfortable to sit on, because sometimes you'll have to stand in line or do something and they do need a chair. So make sure you're thinking of them. If they need to wear a hat to stay cool, that would be really helpful as well. Keep them hydrated. I think that's really important. And those that have limited mobility, those that have the use of walkers, chairs, wheelchairs, crutches, those that might have leg problems, walking problems, we want to make sure that they're safe as well. As I think about these opportunities to have fun, we also have the other side of it where we do have to think about, in human resources, we're thinking about workforce programs and what it is that they're doing. Right now, we're wrapping up some of our summer program participants who are working in departments, and I want to thank all of our program participants who came out for the summer, and some of those have transitioned into regular school or back into college settings, and we just want to thank them for sharing time with us and really telling us where we could improve in our workplace, in our work environments, and something as simple as just having access to an office, to how do we do business in our office. That feedback has been really valuable. The other thing is making sure that if you're interested in the workforce program, we have a ton of opportunities If you visit online the workforce program website, you'll find the application there, ask you to go there and apply for opportunities there. Currently, there's some relationship building that we're doing with some of the urban areas, so there's that information is going to be coming soon. But please take time, check out the website, look at the what supporting documents are needed, and take time to apply. There are a lot of jobs out there. They're there, and we just need you to go in and take a look at those applications. Um, Shifting over to some of the opportunities that are available with our staff training and development program. If you go to their website as well, there's going to be opportunities where you can build some of the professional skills that you need, both soft and hard skills, learning how to use some of the most common platforms that are used in on our nation today and also in school. So if there's something that you find that you're interested in there, take a look, register for the program. Feel free to give them a call and let them help you out. Sometimes these platforms really stay consistent, and then other times when you go into different work environments, there's different opportunities. So even if you need to inquire with them about how, I don't use this program here, but I got to use this one here, find ways and ask questions and see how we can work that out together. The other thing is just kind of shifting over to some of the reporting work that I've done. Most recently, this past weekend, our Division of Human Resources attended the Eastern Agency Council meeting that took place in New Mexico. Our staff went over there, provided presentations, answered a lot of questions, helped to clear up some of maybe the confusion that might be happening with the chapters, what we can do and some of the limitations that we do have. So here in the office, what I've been doing is spending a lot of time with our budgets, helping through the Department of Personnel
Hey, this is Michael Anderson. I'm the Executive Division Director for Public Safety as appointed by our President, Dr. Buu Nygren. I wanted to wish everybody a good afternoon and hope you are all doing well today. Talking about a couple things on a DPS agenda that we are working on. One is just want to kind of send out congratulations to the 7 recruits, police recruits that graduated last week from our Navajo Nation Police Academy. It's a 26-week training program in which we have recruits. We started out with 26 candidates who applied for the position to become police officers for the Navajo Nation. They go through a 26 week training program that covers all aspects of how to be a police officer. We go over state laws for the state of Arizona, state laws for the state of Utah, state laws for the state of New Mexico, as well as federal laws that are pertinent to the Navajo Nation. So there's a lot that goes involved into training a police officer. Most police academies across the United States only are generally anywhere from 10 to 14 weeks. The Navajo Police Academy, located in Chinle, Arizona, is a 26-week program. The interesting thing about the Navajo Police Academy is that Navajo is the only Indian tribe that has its own police academy. They've had this tradition for many years now. They've had several different locations, but they're currently located in Chinle. Our ultimate goal is to build an academy that is interagency and interdepartment, so that ultimately we're training not only police officers, but correctional officers, other departments like Fish and Wildlife, rangers, any type of Division of Public Safety related program where we're able to train Navajo Nation applicants and as well as other potential agencies that may be seeking an academy closer to their jurisdiction instead of having to travel to other agencies. That's ultimately the goal, and we're working towards that opportunity to build an academy within the Navajo Nation, a nice state-of-the-art facility, and we're working with our department heads to potentially accomplish that. So I would ask you to continue to support these efforts. And one of the things that would help out there for our general public is if you know a potential candidate who is interested in law enforcement, maybe they've coming out of the military, maybe they're coming out of high school. There are opportunities that we're looking at to ultimately employ them, to train them, and ultimately they could become police officers for the Navajo Nation. So if we just got 2 applicants from each of the 110 chapters, if we got 2 viable candidates from each of the chapters from the Navajo Nation, we would have 220 applicants that could go through the academy and potentially become police officers for the Navajo Nation. So if you know of a potential candidate, an outstanding young man or young woman who would serve the Navajo Nation in that capacity, and I would encourage you to talk to them, encourage them to look at the opportunities of serving our Navajo Nation as a police officer. And as we grow and build our interagency, interdepartment academy, there are other opportunities as well. So again, congratulations going out to the 7 recruits that recently graduated from the police academy. They just finished off 2 weeks ago. We have another academy coming up beginning in a week and a half, class 59. My understanding is we have about between 13 and 15 recruits that are being considered to go to the academy. We would like to double that, if not triple that. So again, I would encourage you to, if you have a person that you think would be a great candidate, have that person look on our website for Navajo Nation Police Department, specifically the Training Academy, or contact Lieutenant Robert Williams, who oversees the academy in Chinle. You can contact him through the Navajo Police Department and see what the opportunities are for those candidates. I'm going to close out just kind of touch bases in regards to the upcoming fair. Please take the time to prepare for your travels. Be safe. Watch out for the other drivers. Plan out your route, your time of day that you're going to be traveling, how you're going to get there and how you're going to get back. Make sure you watch out for pedestrians, especially when you get into a crowded area like the fairgrounds or the midway or even the roadway that you approach the fairground. Be aware of pedestrians out there. Be aware of the other drivers who are maybe looking at the Ferris wheel instead of the road. Take extra precaution as you approach the fairground. Be safe. Make sure your vehicle is properly maintenance and you have the right equipment in case you have any problems. You have your spare tire. You have extra water. You have any equipment that might help you on your travels. And so, as we approach the fair coming up, we're hoping to make this a really great comeback for our fair event since we're coming out of the COVID years. It's an opportunity now. So hopefully you'll join us here in Window Rock next week, as well as the upcoming fair in Shiprock and, of course, in Tuba City during the Western Agency. So with that, I am going to bid you farewell and a good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in today. Yeah, Mike Anderson. Yeah, Twitch evening. Slow now. Okay, now what's your stream? I see that she trade all 200 national. Yeah.
Good afternoon. Tom Platero and Shia. Touching Shanto Baja Aji Pashin, I'm originally from Round Rock, Arizona. I work with the Navajo Nation Fiscal Recovery Fund Office. Our team works administering the Navajo Nation direct ARPA funding. The ARPA funding total amount is $2,709,496,463.61. Out of this, as of we do budget reports twice a month. The last report that we generated was on August 15th. As of August 15th, we had liquidated or paid out $741,529,826.68. As far as encumbrances, contracts, subrecipient agreements, those are outstanding for $226,521,178.12, which leaves a balance of unencumbered $1,111,410,428.81. At this time, there are no funds that are unallocated, meaning that council and the president have assigned all of the money out to different projects that may change in the future. Right now, with the projects that are there, business units have been set up for 376 accounts. So our office, in collaboration with the administrative oversight, administers all of those projects. What I'd like to focus on today, on today's discussion, is the chapter expenditures. Chapter regional plans is what they're called. The chapter regional plans were authorized for $211,256,148. And the way these were distributed is each region or each council delegate got allocated $8,802,340. So that's the amount that all 24 delegates got. As of today, 272 business units have been set up for chapter regional expenditure projects. That accounts for $92,866,279.29. So that's about 43.96 of the 211 million. There's a balance that's available, $118,389,868.71. During the last special session for council, 4 more legislation was approved for 26 more projects. When we get the chapter regional expenditure plans through, they are either for a certified chapter or non-certified chapter. For the non-certified chapters, as soon as their business units are set up, those chapters are then able to expend their dollars working with their administrative oversight. So right now, the ones that we're working with are the 45 certified chapters. According to the Division of Community Development's website, Chinle Agency has 4 certified chapters, Eastern Agency has 6 certified chapters, Fort Defiance Agency has 12 certified chapters, Northern Agency has 12 certified chapters as well, and Western Agency has 11, again for 45 certified chapters. For those individual chapters, we have to go through what we're calling a subrecipient agreement process. That sub-agreement process is once the accounts are set up through OMB, the administrative oversight. There are multiple oversights. Some of them include the Division of Community Development for chapters, the Broadband Office, Division of Natural Resources, Department of Water Resources, Navajo DOT, Navajo Environmental Protection Agency, rural addressing within the Division of Community Development and Economic Development. These are the administrative oversights that will work with the chapters to administer their projects. What would happen underneath the certified chapter process is that they would be allowed, the administrative oversight will be given an opportunity to offer a subrecipient agreement to the certified chapter. Then the certified chapter would accept it. Then that certified chapter process would then allow chapters to go in and set up an agreement. So right now, our priority for the Fiscal Recovery Fund is to expand public outreach, the development of monthly progress reporting processes, bringing our website up to date, and working to expand get all of the chapter regional expenditure plans approved. If you'd like more information, www.frf.navajo-nsn.gov. My email is t.platero@navajo-nsn.gov. Appreciate your time. Thank you. And that'll be concluding my report. Yeah.
Yate Tashidot Adaza, Sir Raymond Max, Navajo Land Commission, Director, do here in the Shnido, this do Dyson Ado than Nasigi. Kodoi, do so Jedast, anon his Schnedolis. Sagi, deeded our Papesogi, Shisha Office 15.5 million. The so a quagga in the 15.550. That's the total amount. Ado na kilo altatzo. Sege 1.5 million. A housing manufacturing plant study dot miso santo abaka. Out of the remainder, the 14 million, one day that all is. Here's out of this from to the last council, the Bishmas and not Andy is Anigi. A deep base on it, Anigi, a former Bennett Freeze area, this Kaya Nali Aja, one bada all in this. Ado in PL, this in that partition land. There's 14 chapters. Bennett Freeze, former Bennett Freeze, 9 chapters. So each chapter, roughly between 3 and 4 homes per chapter. Each chapter has added a resolution that naming the recipients. The housing manufacturing plant at all not one in New Mexico and one in Arizona. Contract to hire some professionals, outside professionals to do feasibility, to find a location. They would have to consider shipping, delivery, and workforce of that, and also whatever infrastructures in the area like railroads or maybe freeways and stuff like that. This year, I have stop in the select the list we intend to use these ARPA dollars for homes and not let it lapse or go to hardship. Sheep in yes now of the Washington no the base of what kid have one no and yet a comp in the person that is I don't hit not I don't the she being hint either list at home hitch only an other George this either. Both had a sort of she than his neither list. If it's in it's a larger as a priority, for this administration to use up these ARPA dollars for their intended purposes. So I don't hitch in other list. I don't Kyoshi addition the Dobiga so your phone number code 928-514-6117. The Narilo KD fund the Krishi the initiative you called it so if you can call me I'll answer any questions that you have. So call him so she John out of this. Yeah.
Good afternoon. My name is Tony Skrulanis. Usually I talk in Navajo, and this time I'm going to do it in English. I'm going to get into some deeper subjects. I come from Big Mountain, first of all, and I'm the Twitchini clan, born for the Lithuanian people, Tachitni, and then my Chays are Kazakhstan. And I was raised by my great-grandparents. That's why I speak Navajo. Although raised very traditional herding sheep, and I then went to business school, and I got a master's in business degree. Went on to Thunderbird International School of Management, and then I went into nonprofit management for a long time, and then I went into entrepreneurship, and that's really why I'm here. I've actually served this role before as out of a business school. I got to serve in this role after developing what's called the Local Governance Act for the Navajo Nation. I also studied the alternative forms of government that chapters now can institute, and a lot of my work has been on incorporating culture and traditional ways and methods into modern government. And so I think that's really the approach and the value that I bring to the Navajo Nation, and that's really what President Nygren saw in my work and what he wanted for the nation. So I'm bringing a balance to development, and I really wanted to describe a couple of things, in our approach. One, before, when I was a division director, we approached, obviously we did Local Governance Act, but one of the first things under with President Begay, Kelsey Begay's leadership at that time, we went over after business site leasing, and we got that delegated from Congress. Then we created what was at that time really the first sales tax. We created the Navajo sales tax. And the goal was to create an incentive for chapters, so chapters could keep those sales taxes. And so now, years later, really we're, a lot of those, the reasoning for that sales tax, the reasoning for the Local Governance Act, and why we got business site leasing delegated to the nation really kind of has been forgotten. I think there was a time when all chapters had, they were really similar. All they had was a resolution making authority. They would make recommendations to the central government. And they really, all chapters had the same staff. They had what was called a chapter coordinator, $20,000 a year salary. They couldn't do land use planning. There was no revenue generation whatsoever. No ability to manage and develop projects. And so over the years, we've worked to change that. But I think a lot of that reason of why those laws were created have been lost, and the central government has really never fully embraced Local Governance Act and how to support it and really support its implementation. So that's some of the work that we're reigniting now. We're completely, obviously we got business site leasing delegated to Navajo Nation. Navajo Nation can now do its own leasing. The nation has further delegated that to the chapters that are local governance that also have followed procedures to take over that responsibility. But very few chapters have actually used that delegation. I think there's only 1 or 2 chapters that have like a sales tax ordinance. But the one that really has used it extensively is like Tuba City. They get substantial revenue from their sales tax. So there's a lot of potential of this, and it's really important for economic development because it does 2 things. And first of all, it really creates incentive for the community. A lot of communities, when you approach them, they say, well, somebody came from Window Rock years ago. They promised us this and that, and we never got anything out of that development. Obviously, you start at the power plants. Power plants have sat. Good one is NGS. It sat right there in Lachi'i all these years, and there's still homes nearby that don't have power. Power lines are power. So that's really equity. Equity in the projects, and so at the chapter level, they want more from development. They want actual benefits. So really, what we're looking at now is really how do we ensure that chapters can get benefits from development? How do we let them be part of the decision-making process? Is there a portion of the lease revenue that can stay local? Can the chapter get taxing authority? And then what can you do with those taxes? And really offer, I always do like these lectures about LGA and how chapters can really borrow money to do development using future tax proceeds. And that's really something that's done off res all the time. So those are some of the areas we're looking at. We're completely, again, revamping the business site leasing. The goal is let's make it a lot faster. Let's make it more professional. Let's look at all avenues. We're also looking at the financing. If we're going to ever develop larger business projects that are like retail, right? Navajo Nation, the Navajo people actually have a large discretionary income, and they have the ability they have a lot of buying power. But right now, almost 80% of that's leaving Navajo land. And so we're really working hard to figure out how do we turn that around? What are ways that we can structure, organize the communities, do a larger development? How do we finance it? It's one of the biggest questions. So that's one of the areas we're really looking at it. I'll try to give you more. I mean, there's a lot to economic development. And I'm really happy to also do seminars to the chapters. I take our whole team. We've been hitting a lot of the chapters, and again, I speak in Navajo, so a lot of this I can even convey to the public in Navajo. But thank you for your time, and have a great third. Going on.
Back to her reservation road. Take me home. Carry me on, back to her, back to her, back to her, back to her. Take me home.